Well, I came to the area, and we just landed and a little while ago, and I guess we had 25,000 requests for tickets from supporters, and they were filling in, and you had a group of people on the other side, and I felt, and after meeting with law enforcement, we met with them for about a half an hour today, Chris. I felt that it was just safer. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. Yeah. And it's so far it seems to be working that way. But I felt it was much better to cancel rather than allow this to happen. We had thousands of people outside trying to get in, supporters, thousands of them, and far more than, I think there are 10,000 seats. We had probably 25,000 people that we said, don't come. And we started working on it a little while ago, an hour ago, 2 hours ago, telling people don't show up. And we announced that for security reasons, we were going to cancel it. We'll postpone it, come back some other time.
We're seeing a lot of pictures here.
I think was the right thing to do under the circumstances.
But we've got television pictures now which are going to haunt this country for a while. There's pictures of people. I don't want to get into racial stuff, but you can watch the thing. It has an ethnic factor. You see these people from different backgrounds getting in each other's faces, and somebody finally throws a punch. They give each other the finger. You see a person there being held by the police. These people are so angry, and they're angry over the issues you've raised. I mean, it's immigration, I guess. The people who are protesting your rally really don't like the people at the rally now. They've identified them with what you've been saying.
Country, Chris. Honestly,
I know you've got free speech. I understand.
We have a country that's so divided that maybe even you don't understand. I've never seen anything like it, and this has been going on for years. And on one side, you have people that haven't had a pay increase in 10 years, frankly, and the businesses are moving out of the country, and they're upset and they're angry. And on the other side, you have people that feel differently about other elements, and it all comes together, and you see it all over. You see it here, you see it in lots of different locations, and there's a lot of anger in the country, and it's very sad to see, actually.
Do you want to, I'm not going to tell you what to do or ask you because you're the guy running your campaign and it's your campaign, but do you want to tell the people who are with you not to engage with these protesters, not to give them a fight situation, not to engage? Are you discouraging them from...
I actually did that, and in saying that we're going to postpone the rally, we actually said, be peaceful and go in peace, and for the most part they have, Chris. I think this was a lot better than if we had the rally go through, and you have so much anger in the country. I mean, it's just anger in the country, and it's not directed at, I don't think it's directed at me or anything. It's just directed at what's been going on for years, and it's on both sides. It's a double flip. You have people that are very, very, upset about what's happening with the country as a country, and you have other people that just don't feel right about things. I mean, those people were outside; they were coming inside, and rather than having everybody get in and mix it up, I thought it would be a wise thing. And after speaking with the law enforcement, I just thought it would be a wise thing for us to postpone this rally.
Last thought, Mr. Trump, are you going to make any changes in your rhetoric, or because it looks like you can't have a rally now in a big city anymore, because if you accept a big diverse crowd and then you don't vet people coming in, we're going to see a replay of this, it looks like, because, different people are watching this with different reactions. Some people say, I'm not going to go to a situation like that, and some people say, I like that kind of a situation. I'll be going to that the next time. You know how people react to crowd situations.
No, I think, look, we've had, for the most part, we've had by far the biggest rallies. Literally, we had over 25,000 people wanting to come today, and it's incredible when you look. And I've had the biggest rallies by far, bigger than anybody, far bigger than Bernie or anybody. And frankly, we've had very, very little disruption. We've had some protests where an individual would stand up and they'd be whisked out, not a big deal. But we have had very, very little protest, and we've had nobody hurt. And hopefully we can keep that going. That's why I did this today. I don't want to see people hurt or worse. And I think we made the right move in doing that, Chris, rather than going through it and forcing a very bad situation.
We're watching a recurring tape here of an African-American guy. I'd say he's in his 30s, maybe, not much older, young guy. He's a very middle-class guy. I can't tell. He's well-dressed. And my son says he's really angry at your rally. What do you say to him if you had a chance to chat with that guy about what you're trying to do for this country as potential president? What do you say to him?
I want to bring back jobs, Chris. I mean, you talk about African-American youth with a 58%, 59% unemployment rate. You have to bring back jobs. I'd be angry too. And I'm looking at him, and he looks like he's an intelligent guy, but there's a lot of anger. And, frankly, we have to bring jobs back to this country. Our jobs are going to Mexico. Our jobs are going all over the world. They're going everywhere but here. You see Nabisco moving out. You see Ford moving out. You see Carey moving out. Everybody's leaving. And these kids are not getting jobs. And,
well,
it's not going to work if they don't have jobs.
Mr. Trump, why did you say go get a job when you're saying you're going to bring jobs? You recognize these kids, young people sometimes of all groups, don't have jobs. Why did you mock the guy today and say go get a job?
Because, frankly, he was a very nasty guy. He was somebody that was giving us, he was very, very loud, very boisterous, and he was swinging his fists. And he just looked to me like somebody that, frankly, maybe he did have a job, maybe he didn't, I don't really know. But it was just something to say. Nothing wrong with saying it. Go get a job. But the fact is, it's not easy to get jobs, Chris.
I know.
It's not
See,
easy to get jobs in this country.
You're saying two things. One thing that makes perfect sense. People are angry because the economic squeeze is brutal on people. Minorities, and not just minorities, white people, everybody. They're not getting a chance coming out of school. They're 18, 19, 25, 35. Nothing's happening in their life, so they're angry. They got nothing to lose. You seem to sympathize with that. And then out there in that arena tonight, you're calling the guy a bum and saying, go get a job. Of course he's going to get mad at you.
Well, right? He wasn't mad. He was mad long before I said that, Chris. He was jumping up and down for 15 minutes and actually could have been dangerous for people. He was a very bad dude. And jumping up and down, very dangerous. Nobody mentions the other side, Chris. There are two sides. Some of these protesters are very dangerous people. You always say, oh, well, they need the right to protest, and that's fine with me. But some of these protesters are extremely dangerous, extremely physical, and frankly, when the other side, or when the side that, let's say, is not necessarily known as the protester, when they get tough, it ends up being a front-page story. When the protester gets tough, nobody ever writes it. I mean, I could tell you stories about protesters that we've had that you would be 100% on our side if you saw what happened. Look, it's a two-way street, okay? It's a two-way street.
Is this going to affect the voting? I mean, everybody's voting on Tuesday in all these big states like Illinois, right there where this is things going on tonight in downtown Chicago. People are going to be voting in nearby Ohio. They're going to vote in Florida and Missouri, which is nearby. Do you think people who are coming out on the Republican side to vote are going to, how are they going to react to these pictures when they go to vote for you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the two people told me that are experts say this increases the vote for Trump because what we're doing? We had a peaceful rally here, and you're not even allowed to have a rally anymore in this country. So we had a peaceful rally. And in order to make sure that nobody gets hurt, I said, let's postpone the rally. But you can't even have a rally in a major city in this country anymore without violence or potential violence. And I didn't want to see the real violence, and that's why I decided to call it off. I just thought it would be good. And I met with law enforcement, and we could have done it. We would have done it. We could have done it. But I decided not to do it. But it's very tough. I think, a lot of people said, oh, this is going to increase it. This has nothing to do with my decision today. My decision is I just don't want to see people hurt. I don't think it's not worth it to have people hurt. We can come back and do it another time.
There's a guy waving a sign that I think he might be Hispanic. I can't tell, but he's waving a sign that suggests he is. He says, liberation, not deportation. What's your reaction to that message from a protester?
I have no reaction to it. We have to have people come in. It's got to be done through a process. It's got to be legal or we don't have a country. But they have to come in. And they have to come in legally, Chris. Very simple. We have to have borders. If we don't have borders, we don't have a country.
Do you think people should get the message you figure they're going to get, that watching something like this is an object lesson? And is your argument going to be what you just said, going between now and Tuesday, which is all important? It could decide this nomination process all by Tuesday. You could win the whole thing. Do you think people should come out of it with the attitude, Mr. Trump tried to hold a rally today. It was disrupted by his critics. This is wrong. Is that the message?
I think a lot of people think that. I think a lot of people think that it was wrong that we were really stopped from holding a rally. Now, I didn't have to be stopped, but if I held a rally, people would have been potentially very badly hurt, and I don't want to see people hurt. So, I think we were given credit for doing this because things like this, usually they have the rally. Chicago is the home of some very, very bad rallies. You know that, okay? All you have to do is look back at the conventions that they had in Chicago, and the one in particular, as you know, where tremendous numbers of people were hurt, and I believe killed. And I don't want to see anything like that happen, so I made a decision. Now, I spoke with law enforcement, and made it in conjunction with law enforcement. And I think we made a wise decision because it seems to be working out very well. Those are earlier pictures. I just see your on your screen.
Let me ask you,
pictures, and so far it's worked out where nobody's even hurt.
Well, that may be a good call. Let me ask you, between now and Tuesday, will you try another rally? Or is that it for a while?
Well, we're doing others, and we're doing others, and we've had very good. We've had, up until this point, we've had no problem. We've had a couple of individual protesters. Today in St. Louis, we had some protesters, but they were, for the most part, individual protesters that would stand up, start screaming, and they'd be removed. It was not a big deal, and frankly, it went very well. But this is a little bit of a different circumstance, and it's a little bit sad when you can't have a rally in a major city in this country. You know, we can't have a rally in a major city here. Whatever happened to freedom of speech? Whatever happened to the right to get together and speak in a very peaceful manner? So it's a little bit sad to see this. In fact, it's a lot sad to see this, but, you know, I just felt for the benefit of safety, I don't want to see people hurt. I canceled it for tonight.
The only thing is, when you set up a rally in Chicago, which is a city which is majority Hispanic and African American now, I believe the statistics are, that you went into a situation where you knew there'd be a lot of people on a Saturday that would have the time and the passion to come out, like this fellow we're watching here on tape, to come out and protest your situation. So there was really no surprise here, was there, in what happened? Given the venue of your event
Chris,
tonight?
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. You know, you're the first one to say it. It shouldn't matter whether it was, you know, whoever lives in the city. I mean, it shouldn't make a difference. Whether it's white, black, Hispanic, it shouldn't matter. I mean, if you have a rally,
they don't like what you're saying. They don't like what you're saying.
Well, we shouldn't be restricted from having a rally here because of ethnic makeup or anything like that. I'm somebody that feels strongly that it shouldn't make any difference. And you usually feel that, too. That's why I'm surprised you're bringing this up, because it shouldn't matter.
No, I just believe that you could have predicted this. That's all I'm saying. You could have predicted this.
Chris, we shouldn't be able to predict it. We really shouldn't be able to predict it. We should be able to. It's a major city in the United States. It's a great city, Chicago. It's a place that I have investments, big investments, and it's a great city. And it shouldn't matter that we're having a rally in Chicago or that we're having a rally someplace else. And if I watch your show, and you're the first one to say that, so I'm surprised you're saying this, to be honest with you. But I think we did the right thing. A lot of people are saying we did the right thing. In fact, we're being given credit for it. And I think it's breaking up now, and it looks like it's going to be just fine.
Well, let's see how this percolates. Mr. Trump, thank you again for coming on for time and sharing your thinking on this situation. Thank you so much.
Donald Trump earlier this evening calling into my friend Chris Matthews as he was covering this unfolding scenario in Chicago.